Hey, hello. It's Debbie Peterson of Getting to Clarity. And today we are talking about self-leadership. I think a lot of professionals really give themselves a bad rap, or they don't give themselves enough credit when it comes to leadership. They think that it's tied to an office, that it's tied to a title, that it's tied to responsibilities. But, leadership is a mindset. And when it comes to you and your career, what is your mindset around your career? So is it something where you're looking forward and thinking about what may be ahead of you in your career, or is it something that might be behind you that is holding you back? So I want you to imagine that you have a career that you enjoy, that you look forward to each day, that you wake up and you can't wait to get there. And let's be real, that sometimes that's not going to be the case. Okay, you're going to have days that don't go that well. But overall, the career feels like it's a fit for you. It's aligned with who you are. And wouldn't that be terrific? I mean, that you've made intentional decisions about the work that you do, the tasks that you take on, the people that you work with, the people that you work for, that, the things that you volunteer for, whether that's training, you ask for what you want. You ask for the resources. Maybe it's a raise. Maybe it's up-leveling your skills or continuing education. But you're very involved in your career, which means that you don't, even if you work for someone else, you can still own your career. And that's an important point. And self-leadership ties into all of this. So that's what self-leadership is. It's about you taking control of your career and making decisions that align with you and what you want, that you're not completely at the mercy of someone else, that you have thoughts and you have goals and you have visions of where it is that you want to go and you choose accordingly. So today we're going to talk about how you can build more of self-leadership, because again, I think people don't give themselves enough credit. I mean, consider if you're a person in the office that is the go-to person, okay? Whether it's in a role or whether it's a skill set that you have, if you are leading in a nonprofit that's close to your heart, if you are the glue that holds your family together, those are all examples of leadership and self-leadership. So what I want you to do is I want you to expand your view of self-leadership, and then I want to give you some tips and techniques that you can use to build more of it. All right, so when it comes to you and your role, are you looking forward as to what might be ahead of you in your career? Or are you anchored to the past? Because leaders lead, right? They lead into the future. Are you leading yourself into the future of whatever your career looks like for you? So this segues into the 3 tips that I want to give you today. And these are essential to self-leadership and creating more of it. The first is to always seek clarity. Always, clarity is my word. It's my book. It's my company. And that's because it is just so important. Getting clarity is a journey. And it's funny because it's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize that they need. But when they find it, it is such a relief. And seeking clarity in your self-leadership means that you are curious about what's out in front of you in your career. So I say you can't hit a bullseye without a target. You got to know what that target is. Having a plan, or at least giving some thought or brainstorming what could be out in front of you in your career. So here's a process that you can do that. So here's an exercise that you can go through that would help you. So take a piece of paper, and I want you to write down every single thing that you can that is out in front of you in your career. Now, this could be a position that you're curious about, and you think, wow, wouldn't that be interesting? That would be something I'd like to do. It could be a person that you know, and you think, I really like the career that she has. I think that's kind of cool. I'd like to know more about it. It could be a skill set that you want to learn. It could be continuing education or going back for an advanced degree. It could be a promotion into a certain role, a specific role. Hey, Donica. It could be, it could be a different position. So perhaps where you're at isn't where you want to be. A lot of times things change in organizations and they're no longer a fit. So you're curious about what is out in front of you. So brainstorm, no judgment, every single thing that you can think about, put on this list. And then when you're done, I want you to create 3 buckets. In the first bucket are the items that are really important to you. They really intrigue you and sound interesting. In the second bucket, those are the items that they're interesting, but, not as interesting as the first bucket. And the third bucket are things that you came up with, but it's, I don't want to pursue that right now. So here's the deal. You have to take your list and divide it equally among all 3 buckets. And then within each bucket, you prioritize 1 through however many that you have. That gives you a starting place. That gives you something that you can explore about what might be next for you in your career. So always seeking that clarity about what may be next, what could be out in front of me, what is my potential or my possibility. So leaders think in a forward direction. You leading your career, and frankly, your life is leading you in a forward direction. So have clarity about what that is. The second tip that I want you to give today is in building self-leadership, you have to have responsibility. And what I mean by that is you have to have responsibility for your thoughts, for your words, and your actions. So when I say thoughts, is your thinking forward? Or are you anchored to situations in the past? Are there things that are still weighing you down? When you wake up first thing in the morning, is it about possibility or potential? Or are you kind of going back to those things that have happened in the past? So you're thinking, challenging your thinking to think forward. The second piece of this, so your thoughts, your words, your spoken words. Are you thoughtful and intentional when you're communicating with someone externally? Have you given thought to what it is that you're going to say to someone? Or is it just a reaction and it comes flying out of your mouth? Do you have a purpose for your communication, that you're not just trying to fill up space or trying to be right all of the time? So good leaders have good communication. So your external communication in your self-leadership, are you exemplifying that? But it's also internal communication. And that means the things that you say to yourself. I mean, we can go from the highest place to nasty land in a second. So monitoring your internal dialogue as well. We say horrible things to ourselves, things that we would never say to another human being. And you've got to train yourself to do that. You've got to, just did an interview on that. That's terrific, Elizabeth. I'm glad to have you here. And, you've got to train yourself to catch those thoughts, to challenge those thoughts, and then finally change those thoughts, those internal dialogues. So actions is the third piece that you have to have responsibility for. And that is that, there may be things that you do that worked out favorably. There may be things that you do that didn't work out so well. You've got to have responsibility for that. So you have responsibility to know that, 1, this is what you did. 2, this is what the consequence was. And then 3 is, what could you do differently? What would you do differently the next time? And all it is you getting your lesson out of this particular circumstance so that you're taking different action. That is also your responsibility. Third piece is develop accountability. So in self-leadership, it is having clarity of your way forward. It is taking responsibility for your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And then finally, number 3 is developing accountability. If you are leading yourself in your career, if you decide that you want to own your own career, then you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a way forward for you. And you've got to have a way to be accountable to yourself and achieving that. So that may be that you have a simple checklist and you have an idea of what it is that you need to be doing every day, every week, every month to get to where you want to go. It could be that you've got an accountability partner. There's nothing like saying to someone, this is what I'm going to do, and then knowing you're going to meet with them a week or 2 weeks later and you have to say what it is that you did to make you accountable. It could be a mastermind where you're in a group of people that are like-minded and are looking to become leaders in their own careers and advance their careers and have ownership in their careers and their life. Maybe you have a mastermind like that, and where the whole group helps you to focus on the right decisions for you. So those are the three pieces that I would encourage you to focus on if you are looking at building more self-leadership, owning your career and your life. So I'm Debbie Peterson of Getting to Clarity, and I work to advance women and emerging leaders to the next level, or perhaps the next chapter of their career. And if you would like a little help with figuring out what that looks like, as well as the support that I've described today, then give me a shout over at claritywithdebbie.com. So again, it is claritywithdebbie.com. And I would be delighted to have a conversation with you and see what we can map out for your way forward. So until the next time, I hope you have a really great day. And here is wishing you all the clarity that you deserve. Have a really great day. Bye-bye for now.